In the heart of a quiet village in southern Nigeria, nestled between thick forests and winding red roads, lived a woman known as Iya Kemi. She was a plump, friendly woman with the warmest smile and the richest stew pot in the entire land. Her food stand was nothing fancy, just a wooden table, 3 big pots, and a canopy of old banana leaves. But her meals? They were magic, literally. One day it started. A poor farmer named Uche ate her jollof rice, and the next morning he found a bag of money beneath his pillow. The following week, a woman who had been begging for years suddenly owned 3 shops. Rumors spread like wildfire. Iya Kemi's food could make you rich overnight. The villagers flocked to her table. From dawn till midnight, her stand never rested. Some came from faraway towns, riding motorcycles, walking miles barefoot, just to taste her food. But there was one strange thing about Iya Kemi. Before she sold to anyone, she always asked one question: "Are you married, or do you have a boyfriend or girlfriend?" If the answer was no, she would gently smile and say, "Come back another time, my dear." Many didn't understand why she asked this. Some thought it was just her way of making conversation, but the truth was far more terrifying. You see, Iya Kemi was not just a food seller. She was a servant of the Midnight Coven, a secret gathering of evil spirits and witches that feasted on the souls of the pure virgins. Years ago, the coven gave her a gift, food that could bless anyone who ate it with sudden wealth. But in return, she had to deliver them a soul every full moon. There was one rule: she must never sell to a virgin, not even by mistake. Virgin souls were too pure, too powerful. Feeding one of them the cursed food would awaken an ancient spirit, Agbonrin, the devourer of liars. And once awakened, Agbonrin would not stop until the entire village was in ruin. So every night, when the last plate was sold and her customers had gone home, Iya Kemi would carefully pack the leftover food into a black nylon bag, whisper a chant in a forgotten tongue, and leave it by the old Iroko tree at the edge of the village. By morning, it would be gone, taken by shadowy hands to the coven's lair. But greed is a wicked thing, and secrets don't stay buried forever. One evening, just as the sun dipped behind the trees, a young girl named Ediz arrived at the food stand. She was beautiful, soft-spoken, and had never known love or even kissed a boy. She was also very poor and had heard the stories of Iya Kemi's magical meals. As usual, Iya Kemi asked her question: "Are you married, or do you have a boyfriend?" Adaeze hesitated. She knew that telling the truth might mean going back home hungry. So she lied. "Yes, ma. I have a boyfriend." Iya Kemi's eyes narrowed for a moment. Something didn't feel right. But the girl smiled sweetly, and there were many people waiting. So she served her a steaming plate of egusi and pounded yam. That night the moon rose red and angry. Thunder rumbled over the forest, even though no clouds were in the sky. And far away in the mountains, a scream echoed. A sound that hadn't been heard in 100 years. Agbonrin had awakened. The next morning, Adaze was found lying in front of her hut, her eyes wide open, but she wasn't dead. She was frozen, stuck in place, unable to speak, unable to move, just staring, as if she'd seen something too terrible to describe. And then the riches started to turn. People who had become rich from Iya Kemi's food began to lose their minds. One man tried to drown himself in a bowl of okra soup. A woman tore her own clothes in the marketplace, screaming that fire was chasing her. It was as if something dark was eating them from inside. Iya Kemi knew what had happened. She had feared a virgin. She rushed to the Iroko tree that night, carrying a heavy sack of food, hoping to beg the coven for forgiveness. But when she got there, the tree was bleeding, and the sack burst open, filled with worms and bones. A voice whispered in the wind, "You broke the pact, now we feast on all." The next day, a food stand caught fire by itself, even though there were no flames nearby. And from that day forward, anyone who had eaten her food, even just a spoonful, began to slowly go mad, laughing in their sleep, talking to shadows, digging holes in the ground like they were looking for something that wasn't there. The village elders tried to cleanse the land with prayers and fasting, but it was too late. The curse had already taken root. As for Yakemi, she was last seen walking into the forest with a cooking pot on her head, humming a lullaby. Some say she went to beg the coven to take her soul and spare the village. Others believe she became a full witch, roaming the bush, cooking forbidden meals for wandering travelers. But the people of the village still remember and warn their children, be careful who you eat from. Not all food is meant to fill your belly.